Tony Hughley down the back straightaway. Driver hailing out of Frederick, Maryland. Again, simulates later on tonight. Their feature event will kick things off. It'll be a 15-lapper, but after they're done with warm-ups and all the warm-up sessions are done, we will have these guys going under the clock for time trials. And then during the intermission period, we do have the redraw for all 4 classes to determine the starting order for tonight's featured activities. Late model Sportsman for your warm-ups. You can head to the staging area. Late model Sportsman drivers for your warm-ups to the staging area, please.
F, 98, and 17A. I need you to go to the scales, have your transponders checked.
Drivers, stay high in turn 4, stay high in turn 4.
All right, checkered out. Group number 133, Jacob Witt tops on the board, 21.752. Gonna be Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if we could ask you to please rise as you were able in the grandstands for our invocation to be followed by this evening's national anthem. On the back straightaway, two of our late model Sportsman drivers, Eric Cronice, who was a Lance Corporal and a low altitude gunner in our Marines, and the 81 of Daniel Garrett, was a service member of our Navy. On the side of that 5.56 of Eric Cronice, he carries the memory of Lance Corporal Bockelman, Sergeant Bielostowski, Private First Class Gonzalez, and Lieutenant Corporal Peralta, as well as Staff Sergeant Muma. These are people that entered into their various service lives and gave their all for their country and the opportunity for us to be a part of what we're doing here, to be free and watch racing as friends. Check. Thank you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful evening, giving us all the chance to join together as friends and family. Well, as racing fans, we circle this weekend on our calendar as the biggest weekend in racing, But what we're more proud of is to share this weekend with members of our military here at the track. It's so easy to take each day for granted. You not only bless us with the gift of another day, you have provided so many heroes who selflessly entered into the military to serve their country and keep us safe. And for that, we are most grateful. Please watch over our service members and keep them safe while they work so diligently to keep us safe. And help us always to be mindful of the sacrifices they have made to give us the freedoms we cherish. In your precious name we pray. Amen. All right, one lap time trial is coming up. Green flag is out, and once again, as is normal tradition, once that car, which is the 32nd of Cale Martin, out of Clearville, Pennsylvania, clears turn 1 and 2. Our next driver will make his way out. That's going to be the 12F of Jesse Farley out of Montgomery, Pennsylvania. As we get our qualifying underway tonight. Martin lifting those left tires off the ground, coming back to the stripe. He'll kick things off here this evening. And his lap will be a 23.806 to start things off. 12F, Jesse Farley, Montgomery, Pennsylvania, driver number 2 that will make his way out for qualifying. Again, semi-lates will be a part of our program next weekend. The Who's Your Mama versus American Daddy Tire throwing contest next Saturday here at the capital of dirt track racing. Semi-lates, these crate late models, late model sportsmen, and the limited stocks will also be a part of our racing program. 12F of Jesse Farley making his way back to the stripe. And his lap will put him number 2 right now, 25.559 in our semi-late action. Racer number 3 out there, the 17A, Jim Farley out of West Milton, Pennsylvania. Well, once again, coming into tonight's action in semi-late, Steve Kent. He'll be out in a bit. He's the points leader and 2-time feature winner, followed by Dylan Wilson, Shane McQuay, Brian Kearns, and the 25, Jeremy Mills, who makes his way onto the track right now. No transponder pickup on the 17A of Jim Farley, so right now we've got no time on that driver. 25, Jeremy Mills out of Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, making his way across the stripe. And as Mills works his way down the back straightaway, the 3D of Shane McQuay is headed out onto the track. The driver hailing into Sykesville, Maryland. Currently number 3 in our semi-late points. Mills coming back to the stripe. Checkered flag is out, and for the 25, Jeremy will be number 3 on the board at 26.529. Again, McQuay out of Sykesville, Maryland, the 3D on track right now. The 48 of Tony Hughley out of Frederick, Maryland, about to make his way onto the track as well. Late model sportsman, heat race number 1. You can make your way to the staging area. Late model sportsman drivers, heat race number 1 to the staging area, please. Shane McQuay tops on the board when he given at that time, 22.701 for the Sykesville, Maryland driver. As the 48 of Hughley out of Frederick, Maryland, our sixth driver out halfway through our semi-late time trials. Again, late model Sportsman drivers, heat race number 1. You can make your way to the staging area. Hughley, 8th in our series points as he makes his way back to the stripe. And for Tony, the 48, he'll check in number 3, 23.810. So right now, Shane McQuay, Cale Martin, and Tony Hughley, the top 3. As a 98 of Bill Sheehan at Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, makes his way on the track. Well, the 98 comes home in the number 2 spot right now. Bill Sheehan, 23.575. As Rob Nichols in the 7 out of Winchester, Virginia, makes his way onto the track. Back for the checkered flag. Again, late model Sportsman to the staging area for heat race number 1. Nichols quickly tops on the board. 22.249 will be his time. And the one-time feature winner, Brian Kearns at Cross Junction, Virginia, in the 83. As we mentioned this year, there's been 4 different winners in semi-late action. Alan Brannon took the opener. Jason Giesemann, Steve Kent's got 2, and Brian Kearns the other victory. As Kearns works his way off at turn number 4, back to the stripe. Checkered is out. Kearns now tops on the board, 22.183. And up next, as we mentioned, a multi-time winner and champion of the past couple of seasons at 21, being powered by Jason Stoner out of Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. And a couple good bullets left in the gun. Stoner, its first appearance this year, but he knows this track very well. The 1C of Steve Kent out of Woodsboro, Maryland, the 2-time winner and points leader, makes his way onto the track likewise. Here comes Stoner back to the stripe, looking for tops on the board. He'll get it. 21.927 for Jason Stoner, as Kent is the last one to try his time. And he brings the 1C across the stripe. So right now, Stoner, Brian Kearns, Rob Nichols, Shane McQuay, and the 36, Bill Sheehan, to make it the 98 of Sheehan. Again, late model Sportsman's heat race number 1. Late model Sportsman drivers, heat race number 1 to the staging area, please. Kent brings it back to the stripe, and the last one is the best one. 21.632 for Steve Kent. Current point leader and 2-time feature winner, tops on the board tonight. He'll be a part of the redraw coming up later on this evening during the intermission period. All right, field is set. 31 cars on hand tonight. Again, top 5 to transfer in this 8-lap qualifier. Number 1 of 4 for the night. Palmer in the 86, very strong this year. Good to see him back with us. 81G of Daniel Garrett, second place run last night at Dog Hollow Speedway in limited late model action. Here we go, green flag, our first heat race of the night. It'll be Palmer from that pole position, grabbing the lead. Garrett wiggles a little bit, but holds on to second. Bard in that KB, along with the 24K of Jeff King, side by side for third. King working the outside line with the 99 BA of Cody Lear right behind him. Now Lear dives it right down to the bottom from the top. He'll steal a spot away from Bard, and that will move him for the moment up into the number 4 spot. Bard back in 5th. Braden Anderson for the back of the field. He's trying to make some moves up. And all the while, it's going to be Palmer and Garrett checking out of the top 2 spots as they work it back for lap number 2.
Yellow, yellow, stay high in 3 and 4, stay high in 3 and 4.
Caution on the speedway as 2 laps got complete. Looks like the 24 or 25R of Jonathan Raley spinning down bottom in turn number 3 and 4. Battling that sunshine a little bit for all of us. Trying to see the drivers down there in the shaded area of the racetrack, but Raley brings that yellow out here in the early going. It's Palmer and Garrett from the front row. Nothing has changed since the initial start. All right, field off at turn number 4, making their way back to the Jesse James Auto Marts restart zone. Palmer grabs that lead away from Garrett. Cody Lear quickly on the attack down to the bottom side. Sometimes a bottom off of turn 2 works well. He'll hit the bite, and Lear will go up into second. Braden Anderson trying to thread the needle likewise. Outside of Jeff King, looking to the inside of Garrett back there in the number 4 position. Palmer, meanwhile, leading by a few car lengths. It'll be Lear, Garrett, Anderson, and King as the top 5. Single file as they work it back into 1 and 2, and King now on the move. He and Anderson side by side. King had to check up slightly. That gives Anderson the high side momentum back up into 4th as they'll take the cross flags halfway this time by. Solid run for Palmer. 3 car lengths or more of an advantage over Cody Lear. Another 5 back to Daniel Garrett. Few more back to King, and then Anderson right there. Again, top 5 to transfer. So right now Anderson on the bubble with a 25R, and Jonathan Rayleigh pedaling hard after that early race caution. He's coming from the back trying to make his presence known and not have to go into the LCQ as lap number 5 goes on the board here in the 8-lap qualifier. Rayleigh slips up off at 2. That'll open the door for Devin Fry. He'll now be the man on the attack, but he's only got 2 laps to go as Palmer brings him back to the stripe. Lear, meanwhile, closing that gap up a little bit on your leader. Only a few car lengths separation. Garrett comfortably in 3rd. King and Anderson, they've got the 2 transfer spots. Rayleigh in the 25R. He's going to head to the back pits here on 1 lap to go here in our first late model Sportsman qualifier. Oh, and trouble for Anderson. Spins it. As they were coming to the checkered, he was down low, and that car just took a direct right-hand turn. Fortunately, didn't hit the outside wall, but a very, very unorthodox move over there in that 1-2 turn. All right, setting up 1 lap dash to the finish here in our first qualifier. Palmer and Lear. Lear had been closing that gap up, but here goes the restart. Everybody's scrambling behind Palmer. It'll be Garrett down to the inside, and look at Lear on the outside. He'll go top shelf, but usually that bottom side off of turn number 2 will work very well, and Palmer holds it. Lear is not done. Palmer squeezes him out of that top groove, and now Lear switches grooves, tries to find his way, can't do it. Garrett makes a slide move. Palmer takes the win. Lear back to 2nd. Garrett winds up in 3rd. All right, drivers stacking up down the back straightaway. 8 laps again the distance. Top 5 to transfer. Bobby Beard and Danny Atherton, pair of Pennsylvania hot shoes, up on the front row as we get set to go green. Late Model Sportsman, heat race number 3 to the staging area, please. Late Model Sportsman, heat race number 3 to the staging area. Three wide action back for 3rd as Hershey in that 71 tries to make a move. Carrico and he get together. A lot of damage on the back end of that 71 to the left side. That'll cost him a little bit as he works his way back to the inside of Bone Break. Going to be Bobby Beard to the number 12 machine. Right now leading us back for lap number 1. Bone Break to the inside of Danny Atherton. That will give him 2nd. Hershey in the 71 for the moment in 3rd. Then the 81 of Jesmer. Car is not quite up to snuff. Pushing through the corners, and he gives up 2 spots. Booz and Carrico both get around him. And again now that transfer spot comes into play. The 5th position, Jesmer spins it over in turn 3 and 4. And a mirror image of heat race number 1, caution, happening on lap 2, happening down in turn 4 as the 81 of Jesmer whips it back around and continues on. right, green back out. Tyler Hershey's got himself a pretty stout ride. He is looking all over, inside, outside. And these first couple circuits, and now dives it down below Bone Break, trying to get another spot. Bobby Beard will lead him back to the stripe. It's going to be Bone Break in second, Hershey in third, Atherton, and the 67 being powered by Carico. They are the top 5 right now. The point leader, Brian Booz, he's trying to get down there. Jesmer tries to be the meat in the sandwich and go right up the middle. And he will sneak around Carico by the narrowest of margins. Meanwhile, for the lead, Bone Break trying to get to the inside of Bobby Beard as we go halfway in qualifier number 2. Beard running that low to middle groove. Bone Break down bottom. He'll lose a few car lengths off of that turn. 71 of Hershey's tucked into third. Atherton and Booz, they are the top 5 with a couple car lengths over Carico, trying to get himself into a transfer spot. And Carico's got a battle with Jimmy Jesmer, who's trying to get around him and also catch up with the point leader, who's in that 5th position. Carico for the moment's got it. Everybody's single file this time as he'll come back for 2 laps to go here in our second qualifier. Beard fended off Bone Break moments ago. Opens up a 3-car length advantage. White flag in the air for Bobby Beard at Hanover, Pennsylvania. Made his appearance at Hagerstown a week ago. And the 12 is back in action tonight here at the Capitol. 2, 3-car length advantage over Bone Break. Same back to the 71 of Hershey. Atherton a little out of shape. That'll open the door for Booz to get to the inside, get off the bubble. But those two are comfortable in the top 5 spots, and it's going to be Bobby Beard coming away with heat race qualifier number 2. Bone Break will be second, Tyler Hershey in third, Brian Booz and Danny Atherton. They'll be the top 5 in our second late model Sportsman qualifier tonight. All right, as we get set to go, third qualifier. Good field of cars once again set to go. 8 laps of distance, top 5 to transfer into tonight's 20-lap main event. Justin Dillman, first appearance of the season. Kyle Hardy. Here we go, 8 laps. Dillman hugging that bottom side best he can. Hardy's going to wheel around him, and here comes Lear. He'll go 2 for 1. He'll get both of them down bottom and put the 149 up top. He's looking for a 2 for this weekend. Winning the PA last week or last night and trying to get him off to a good start tonight. Lear the leader, Hardy second, Cody Breeden, Justin Dillman, and the 49 of Ray Ciccarelli. They'll be the early top 5. Dylan Brown to the 89, right behind Ciccarelli, and here comes Breeden to the inside of Hardy, challenging for second spot down in turn 3 and 4, and Breeden makes the pass. Hardy with a crossover, trying to come right back. Breeden will slam that door and see if he can edge away, and he does by 5 car lengths. Here comes Dillman right back up on the rear deck lid of the Hardy machine. And all the while, it's going to be Kyle Lear checking out as he comes back for lap 3. Dillman still working on Hardy. And side by side, Cody Kirshner and Dylan Brown. That's going to be for the transfer spot here in tonight's Late Model Sportsman third qualifier. Give it to the 2+2 of Kirshner off turn 2. Five on the board that time by all Kyle Lear in the 149. As Cody Kirshner, Megan Breeden in the 14. Solid second. They both are comfortable in their spots. 99 of Hardy has gathered it in, fended off Justin Dillman, and now he's comfortably in third with 2 laps to go. Dillman holding on to fourth. 2+2 of Cody Kirshner. They are the top 5. Late Model Sportsman, heat race number 4. He should be at the staging area. White flag out for Kyle Lear, and it's all showtime as he heads down the back straightaway, the 149. Heads it through 3 and 4, and he will take the third late model sportsman qualifier tonight. 14 of Cody Breeden, solid second place run. The 99H of Kyle Hardy will wind up in third. Good battle for fourth, not over with. Kirshner on the outside takes a spot as Dillman begins to show signs of smoke. But Dillman gets into the show with the 49 of Ray Ciccarelli back there in sixth spot.
All right, Travis, green flag this time. Spike, you can start anytime after that pole in 3 and 4.
In that 11M machine, joined again by the 34D Kenny Yoder. 8 laps of distance, looking for the next 5 to transfer in tonight. All right, green is out, and it's going to be Spike Moore grabbing that lead. Schaefer in his second spot, down to the inside. Cronice goes up into third. Going to be Yoder in fourth, and Trayton Lee, the early top 5, as they work 3 and 4 and back to the stripe for lap number 1. Moore has run some late model sportsman races as well as the modifieds and looks quite comfortable in that 11M machine. Schaefer, the veteran at Hampstead, Maryland, the 91. Very solid in second. Cronice in the 5.56, racing for some of those military brethren. For Page Grove and so many others. It has been a trying couple of last weeks here at Hagerstown. And the Cronice car looking great. 34D of Yoder back and forth. The 2T of Trayton Lee, the top 5 as they come back for lap number 3, led by Spike Moore. And one driver off the pace down the front straightaway. 34J of Charles Jones. Looks like he'll grab a gear and at least keep on going. Halfway on the board for Spike Moore. Second spot to Charlie Schaefer. And really the transfer spot not in trouble, but third, fourth, and fifth getting tight. Cronice has got it. Going to be Yoder about 2 car lengths back. And Trayton Lee trying to find a little bit of an advantage as he closes the gap up. Lee to the inside, off at turn number 4. He and Yoder are side by side. 5 laps complete. And Lee not going to give up. He gets around Yoder quickly down the back straightaway to the inside of Cronice. He'll get third as Spike Moore brings it back. 2 laps to go this time by. Moore working the slower machine of Charles Jones as Schaefer tries to close up. Jones, he's trying to get him out of the groove and almost spins in front of the leaders. Moore had to get on the binders, and that put Charlie Schaefer right there in the final circuit. White flag is in the air. Trayton Lee remains in third. Cronice and Yoder, the top 5, and the top 2 separated by just a car length or so. It's going to be Moore taking the high groove. Schaefer down to the bottom side off turn number 4. Spike Moore coming away with the 4th late model sportsman qualifier tonight. Charlie Schaefer, Trayton Lee, Eric Cronice, and Kenny Yoder will be your top 5. Again, third appearance by our Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Models this year. David Kaiser and Drew Brandon, make it Devin Brannon, have been the winners. We are guaranteed a third different Crate Late Model winner here in 2025 at Hagerstown. And they will be back with us next weekend with the Late Model Sportsman, Semi-Lates, and Limited Stocks. Meanwhile, 6 laps. Here we go. Tied battle between Upperman and Hutton's going to climb the banking. The 33 of Jacob Witt slides underneath into second. Going to be Upperman, the 27, leading that first group into turn 3 and 4. Witt in second. Hutton holding on to third, then 2x2 racing, almost 4 wide as they came down the front straightaway. Wow. 11P of Ed Pope. He'll come out the better as he'll get the number 4 position. Going to be Sweeney back in there likewise with the 34C of Craig Perrell. And almost a spin by the 01S of Robert Smith, 31 right behind him. That being Noah Brunell, almost tagged him, but they straighten out as Upperman leads him down the back straightaway. He's got a good 7 or 8 car lengths over the 33 of Witt. Hutton about the same distance back in third. Pope in the 11P right now holding on to 4th. He's a little wiggly up in that high groove, and he's got pressure from behind. And that's going to be from the 40 of Scott Sweeney Jr. Halfway on the board that time by. 3 in the books, 3 to go as our second and final qualifier for Crate Late Models gets to the staging area and set to go. Again, Upperman, the outside pole sitter at a Greencastle, PA, coming back 2 to go this time by. Witt comfortably in second, likewise for the number 6 of Christopher Hutton, the pole sitter. Pope gathering something. He's found something up on that cushion in the 11P. He closes the gap up as the white flag comes out. Final circuit for Kyler Upperman, the outside pole sitter from Greencastle, PA, and he'll bring that 27 home first. And qualifier number 1 for the Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Models, 33 of Jacob Witt, the 6 of Christopher Hutton, the 11 of Ed Pope the 3rd, and the 40S, Scott Sweeney Jr. They will be the top 5. All right, green flag is out. 19 of Alan Witt Jr. inheriting the pole position. 49 of Ciccarelli to the outside. 14C of Chuck Bowie back there in third. Here's head down the back straightaway. 21 of Horse, then the 08 of Jacob Burdett, the outside pole sitter, as they make their way back for lap number 1. Going to be Witt the leader. Top 4 fairly secure. The 92 of Brian Coe. He claims that number 5 position, followed by the 08 of Burdett as they work it back into 3 and 4. 2 of the 6, led by Alan Witt Jr., 49 of Ciccarelli, and the 14C of Chuck Bowie. Again, Pure Stocks for your time trials to the staging area. Pure Stock drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. Challenge for third as Brian Coe almost got out of shape off at turn number 4, but just in front of them, Chuck Bowie and Brian Horse right now. They are Tyler Horse. They're having a pretty good battle. Horse chipping away on the outside, but Bowie's got the preferred line as it continues to be Witt and Ciccarelli. A very clear top 2 halfway on the board. Or actually 2 to go, sorry. Well, problems for Ciccarelli. The 49 almost tagged the outside wall. That gave Witt everything he needed to go in and get this victory and put the 14C of Chuck Bowie right behind the 49 as they come off of turn number 4, checkered in the books. A 19H of Alan Witt Jr. is going to come away with the victory. 49 of Ciccarelli will wind up in second, in trouble further back down in turn 4. 21 of Tyler Horse, one of the drivers involved as he whips it back around. And that will change the results in that top 5. But again, Alan Witt Jr., the winner. Ciccarelli, the 92 of Brian Coe, the 08 of Burdett, and the 23. Well, as our Pure Stocks get set to do their qualifying and try to get themselves set for their 15-lap main event tonight. 11A of James Spielman out of Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. He'll be the first driver set to come out for his one-lap session. We mentioned coming into the event, Dylan Beavers and the 62, the points leader, Tyler Fisher, Blake Reed, William Ecton Jr., Nathaniel Yonker. Drivers in the top 5 in the series points. As Spielman works the 11A back to the stripe, and he'll grab the green flag to get things kicked off in our Jesse James Auto Mart start zone. .32F of Tyler Fisher out of Fairplay, Maryland, also making his way onto the track, the one-time feature winner, as Spielman brings the 11A back. Good run for him last weekend before some mechanical issues got him. Spielman gets us kicked off with a 24.772 this evening. 32 of Tyler Fisher out of Fairplay, Maryland, the one-time feature winner in pure stock action. And next to come out behind him, going to be the 57, William Ecton Jr. at Mercersburg, PA. Top 5 run for him last weekend in pure stocks. Again, there will be a redraw for the pure stocks after their qualifying is done for a possible inversion as Fisher brings it back to the stripe. Tyler's lap will be tops on the board for the moment, 24.630. As the 57 of Ecton and a Mercersburg, PA now takes that big-bodied Monte Carlo down in turn number 1 and 2. All right, Ecton goes by that big-bodied Monte Carlo as he goes 24.325. Good job, Bill Ecton Jr. Still looking for that first feature victory, and he is oh so close. 48, Brian Shingleton in the Capon Bridge, West Virginia on the track right now. And your point leader, the 62 with Dylan Beavers out of Hedgeville, West Virginia, makes his way out as well. Oopsie in turn 4. And a problem for the 48 of Shingleton as he was coming to the checkered flag, so that will disrupt a little bit of activity for both drivers here in a few moments. Beavers will get the 1 to go indication when he comes by. Checkered flag goes out to the 48, and we will see. Shingleton's going to have some work to do later on tonight. 40.419. So he'll see what he can do. Beavers will be coming to the green flag and getting set for his one-lap time trial here in a moment. A lot of solid runs for the West Virginia drivers so far this year. Still looking for that first one as he heads her down the back straightaway. 71 of Carter Schenk out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania, also enters onto the track. Beavers works it off at turn number 4. And Dylan goes top shelf right now on the board, 24.170. Moving Ecton down to second. 71 of Schenk taking the green flag. .45 Lincoln Sutphin in Round Hill, West Virginia, also making his way out as here comes a 71 of Carter Schenk to take his checkered flag. And for Schenk, that'll put him in the number 4 spot, 24.689. 45 of Sutphin will put us pretty much halfway. 7 of our 13 drivers in pure stock action for their time trials here this evening. 31 of Nathaniel Yonker making his way out. Berkeley Springs, West Virginia driver, getting up through the gearbox and getting set for his one-lap run. Sutphin in the 45. His time is going to put him in the number 3 spot, 24.590. So Beavers, Ecton, Sutphin, Fisher, and Schenk. Late model Sportsmen for your last chance qualifier. You can make your way to the staging area. Late model Sportsman drivers, last chance qualifier to the staging area, please. 31 of Yonker. Good solid run in third. 24.342 for the West Virginia driver. As a 66 of Dave Friedrich out of Greencastle, PA, now makes his way across the stripe. Again, LCQ for the late model Sportsmen is coming up next. Drivers, you can make your way to the staging area. '66 of Friedrich, wrapping things up, bringing it across the stripe. He'll be fourth in the rundown right now, 24.360. As the 8B, Blake Reed out of Hagerstown makes his way out onto the track. '77, Bryson Fogel out of Myersville, Maryland. Also making his way out to get himself set for his one-lap run as Reed brings it off at turn number 4. And for Blake, top on the board, 24.161. Getting progressively stronger each and every race. Great job for Blake Reed as Dylan Beavers, William Ecton Jr., Nathaniel Yonker, and Dave Friedrich right now will be your top 5. 77 to Bryson Fogel just taking the green flag. Next up going to be the 141, Sam Caravello out of Baltimore, Maryland. Always a strong contender likewise. Checkered coming out for the 77 of Fogel. He'll be 10th right now at 25.170. As Caravello brings the 141 across the line, and one more strong contender. That's going to be the two-time feature winner, Keith Reed, in the number 8 machine at Hagerstown, making his way onto the track as well. Again, late model Sportsman drivers for your last chance qualifier. You can head to the staging area. Late model Sportsman drivers for the LCQ to the staging area, please. And for Caravello, his lap in the 141. Sixth on the board, 24.406. And the 80 Keith Reed will be our final driver out in qualifying this evening. As we mentioned, a two-time feature winner and defending champion in pure stock action at Hagerstown. Reed making his way back off at turn number 4. And it will be Keith Reed as our top qualifier tonight, 23.890. All right, cars lining up. Going to be Ray Ciccarelli to the inside of Greg Carrico in the 67 as they get set to come down to the Jesse James Auto Mart start zone tonight. Our final qualifying event of the evening. 25R of Braden Anderson, the 0 Mike Steck. They're on the outside of that second row. And here we go. 8 laps again the distance. Top 2 leading on each other as Carrico brings them down the stripe with Ciccarelli. And Ciccarelli grabs that lead. Carrico quickly down bottom, seeing if he can get some digging done down the bottom side and pull up there close to him and draws almost even in turn 3 and 4. Ciccarelli giving him racing room. Carrico will be the leader of lap number 1 as Ciccarelli swung it wide. 25R of Anderson back there in third spot. And right now, the 81 of Jimmy Jesmer Jr., they are the top 4 that would transfer in. Anderson quickly around the 49 of Ciccarelli and in his second. And our Jesse James Auto Mart caution coming out. That's going to be for the 27 of Lee Ziegler. As we join the tail end of the field, top 4 drivers transfer. Carrico to the inside. Braden Anderson has made the move so far. He's on the outside of that first row. Jesmer and Ciccarelli. Right now, they're the 4 that would get in as we go back to green. And Carrico grabbing the lead on the restart here at lap number 2. Anderson in his second. Jesmer with a good run to the inside of Ciccarelli, grabbing third. Little distance back to the 0 of Mike Steck, who is outside looking in. Ciccarelli almost lost it in that 3-4 turn. He holds it on. And as it come back to the stripe, lap 3 is complete. Single file right now and evenly distanced out as they work their way back. Halfway will go on the board here in the LCQ. Carrico in the 67, Anderson, Jesmer, and Ciccarelli with Steck within striking distance. Ziegler in the 27, and then the 42 of Jordan Malinowski. Top 3 pretty well secure. Ciccarelli in the 49, holding on to that 4th position, still with a little bit of a gap as well as they'll come back for the 2 to go indication this time by. Anderson trying to tighten it up with Carrico a little bit. As the 81 of Jesmer, only the second week in that late model Sportsman ride. And learning very quickly after picking up that modified championship here at Hagerstown a year ago. No change in the front 4 as the white flag will be out this time. Checkered out in our LCQ, going to be the 67 of Greg Carrico out of Winchester, Virginia, taking the top honors. 25R, Braden Anderson into second spot. 81 of Jimmy Jesmer and the 49, Ray Ciccarelli. They'll be the final 4 transfer drivers in tonight's late model Sportsman event. All righty, we're set to do our redraw here on the front straightaway, and a man I'm all too familiar seeing, Clark Kent, yes, Steve Kent.
That's my uncle.
Oh, I know. Hey, great run last week. Like I said in the article, you batted 1,000. You were tops in qualifying. You drew the number 1, or rolled the number 1 in the redraw, and what a stellar performance. But you got a couple more hounds out there today and tonight to deal with. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the same setup that we had last week and let it eat. So.
Okay. Now, are you rolling the dice or are you letting a little one? All right.
I don't care.
All right. You're going to put the Superman cape on now. Clark Kent goes to Superman. Let's see what the 1C's got tonight as the redraw dice rolling down that straightaway. Oh, my goodness. Looked like it was going to be a 5. It's a number 1. Steve Kent in the 1C, 2-time feature winner and points leader. And he's going to be looking to see if he can pick up that 3rd victory tonight here at the Speedway. All right, Keith Reed. I'm going to bring him up here. 2-time feature winner, defending champion. Wow, what a race last weekend. That was a good performance between you and Evan.
That was a lot of fun. Kudos to Evan. Wish he was here tonight so we could try to do it again. But I can guarantee you one thing. There will be no gap between my car and that wall.
Okay. Now, when you got back to the pits after top qualifying and Blake was up top, did Blake say anything to you like, come on, Dad, let me get at least something out of this?
No, there wasn't any smack talking.
All right. Been a good season so far. Let's roll that dice or we're going to get somebody to do it for you.
One of the kids do it.
Okay. Do we have a youngster that wants to roll the dice for Keith Reed? Anybody? Nobody?
Who is that? Is that Dylan?
Huh?
Dylan.
All right.
Roll it.
Is that Dylan Beavers?
Yeah.
All right, that's your point leader. That's your rival, and he's gonna roll. Let's see what the rival's gonna roll. Now, what are you gonna do if he rolls a 6?
I'm going to track him down.
All right, Dylan Beavers, our point leader in the 62.
Holy cow!
Good Lord. It's a 4. That's not too bad. Can you live with that tonight?
Absolutely.
All right, Keith, good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, Keith Reed, our defending champion and 2-time feature winner, gunning for that 3rd victory of the season, Kyler Upperman. Good to see this gentleman. Great run in your heat race tonight. Good to see the crates back with us as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a pretty good piece here in the heat race, so hopefully we can make the right changes and keep it up front there. So
I would say track conditions will probably stay about the same between now and the time you get out there for your feature. I know you're number 3 in the order tonight. You think things are going to be pretty consistent?
I don't know. It seems pretty good now. I guess we'll just see what happens here after that limited feature.
Yeah. I know I haven't seen you much this year, but how's your season been going so far?
Oh, not too bad. We've pretty much just been focusing on running points here. So it's been a couple weeks since we raced, so I might be a little rusty, but we'll give it a go here and see what we got.
When I said I hadn't seen you in a while, it means I haven't seen you here. Now I see you here, and I'm going to make you roll that dice. So you get out there and let's see what we can do. One is heat race and crate late model action in the first event. As Kyler rolls her down the straightaway, and let's see what he can come up with. Oh, number 2, not bad at all. That's a good one. Kyler, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Kyler Upperman at a Greencastle, PA, and his fellow Greencastle driver. You know what? I'm becoming your good luck charm because when you come here and I'm here, this is the second time I've seen you on this front straightaway, Scott Palmer.
Yeah, this is my 3rd time here, too, so you're pretty lucky. That's good luck.
I don't know what happened the other time when you weren't here. My memory fails me. It actually really does. But another good performance again tonight so far.
Yeah, I mean, it helped a lot starting up front. This is one of those tracks where it's pretty hammered down right now, so if you're starting up front, that's a big advantage.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. All 4 late model Sportsman heats were fierce. There was one of them, I think it might have been yours. It looked like they were running for 10 grand in a heat race. It was wild coming right down to the wire. Is that any indication of what we're going to see in that feature event tonight?
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting feature because this track's going to be interesting to figure out just how much it's going to dry out during the race. So, I think there's going to be guys that'll come on late, so it's just a matter of picking the right setup for the end of the race.
All right. Refresh an old man's memory. When you rolled it last time, what did we roll?
A 1.
All right, let's go for it. See what Scott Palmer's got in the bag tonight as he rolls the dice to see what the invert's going to be. Oh, there it is, number 1. You have got that. Scott, good luck tonight.
You're my lucky charm.
All right. All right, Palmer, number 1 on the invert on the dice as we get set. Semi-late drivers, your feature coming up. Drivers, you can stay on the back straightaway.
Green flag this time around, drivers. 21, you start the race. 15 laps, guys.
Very strong front row. Jason Stoner, multi-time winner in the last couple of years. A 7 of Rob Nichols out of Winchester. They'll be on that front row. 3D of Shane McQuay. And the 98, Bill Sheehan. They'll be back in row number 2. Field getting the green? I don't think so. A little antsy up on that front row as we'll settle them back down and try again. 36 of Cale Martin back on the inside along with the 1C of Steve Kent. He did draw that number 1, but he was the previous week's winner, so that's where he starts and why. As the green flag comes out, the Jesse James Auto Mart restart zone as we get set for semi-late action tonight. And Nichols and Stoner will remain side by side off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Caution again, our Jesse James Auto Mart caution flag coming out for debris down in turn number 1 as we'll have to have a 3rd attempt.
Hey, 3rd time's a charm, drivers. 21, you start the race.
All right, let's see if we can make her happen this time. Stoner and Nichols will lead us back off of turn number 4, back into the Jesse James Auto Mart restart zone. Well, this time Stoner able to get the better on entrance to turn number 1, but Nichols not giving up. He's going to be right there on the outside, down the back straightaway. Kent quickly up into 3rd. Kearns, the one-time winner, to the inside of McQuay in the battle for 4th. Nichols with a good strong run on the outside, trying to make it stick. Here comes Stoner back to the inside. Nichols will get the credit for lap number 1. Stoner in his 2nd. He'll run that low groove. It's going to be Nichols middle to high with Kent in the 1C. Right in behind him in 3rd. Kearns in 4th. McQuay, the 3D, they are the top 5. 98 of Sheehan, the 48 of Hughley, the 36 of Martin. They will be the next drivers in line, and Stoner not giving up, chipping away down on that bottom side here on lap number 2. And a good run for Stoner that time as he'll draw even with Nichols down the back chute. Few car lengths advantage over Steve Kent. Leader still side by side in that 3-4 turn. Nichols trying to keep it wound up, but Stoner is going to be the edge master this time by, but Nichols still gets it. And by the scant few inches, and Nichols will reclaim that number 1 spot, but Stoner again grinds it up down the back straightaway. Kent 2 car lengths back in third, Kearns in fourth, McQuay, Sheehan, Hughley, followed by Martin as the leaders come back for lap 4. Well, 4 different winners in semi-late action. If this stays the way it is, even though Steve Kent's well within striking distance, it could be a 5th. But early in the event, only a third of the way through tonight's 15-lap main event as they put lap number 5 on the board. Stoner reassumes the number 1 spot. Nichols back into second. Kent in third. And they'll close on some lap traffic off of turn number 2. That being the 12F of Jesse Farley, and once in front, Stoner now trying to check out. Kent gets around Nichols before they hit that lap card. He goes into second spot. It's lap 6 complete this time by. .25 of Jeremy Mills next in line as Stoner opens up about a 7 or 8 car length advantage. He'll kick quickly to the inside upon entrance of turn number 3 and 4 as Mills gives him plenty of racing room. Swings it wide and brings it back down as 7 are complete that time by. Kent still about 5 car lengths back in second as the 3D of Shane McQuay pulls in here on lap number 7 while running up there in the top 5 at the moment. Tough break for the Sykesville, Maryland driver as he heads off into the pits, and we put lap number 8 on the board halfway in tonight's 15-lap main event. And a tough break for Rob Nichols while running up there in the top 5. Smoke billowing from the back of that 7 machine. The Winchester driver off the pace as he hits down to the bottom side of the track. And still limps around down in turn number 1 and 2. 5 laps to go as Stoner has himself a pretty good lead over the 1C of Steve Kent. And Nichols still limping down the back straightaway trying to find that back pit entrance, but going very slow. Caution on the speedway here at lap number 10. So tough break for Rob Nichols, and now the smoke billowing more from that 7 machine, running very strongly earlier tonight. And going up in smoke as they check him out, make sure there's no fire or anything on that car. Late model Sportsman for your main event to the staging area, please. Semi-lates will be back in action next week, but right now we still got 5 in doubt as they hit the Jesse James Automart restart zone off of turn number 4. Going to be the 21 of Stoner up to the gearbox and lead them back to the stripe. Kent right there on that rear deck lid as they work it back into 1 and 2. Kearns of the 83, another one-time winner likewise. He's there as the leaders make their way midpoint down the back straightaway. Sheehan in the 98, the 48 of Hughley, and the 36 of Cale Martin. They're the top 6 as they come back for lap number 11. Well, after a lap or so, it's going to be the 21 of Stoner stretching that advantage back out by about 7 or 8 car lengths over Steve Kent. As we get set for lap number 12 completion, it's going to be Stoner in the high line. Kent working down to the bottom, and Kearns about 5 car lengths back in third. 98 of Bill Sheehan, and then the 48 of Tony Hughley. They remain the top 5. 2 to go off turn number 4 for Jason Stoner. Looking to become winner number 5 in semi-late action here in 2025. Working it down the back straightaway. Steve Kent of that 1C. Good 12 to 15 car lengths back of that number 2 position. Kearns in the 83 remains third. Sheehan in the 98. Hughley in the 48. The top 5 with the white flag coming out this time by. Well, he was a one-time winner in 2024, multiple wins in 2023, and he has found his way back. His first night back at the Speedway, and Jason Stoner parks it in victory lane in semi-late action. The 1C of Steve Kent coming home in second, the 83 of Brian Kearns in third, 98 of Bill Sheehan, and the 48 of Tony Hughley. They will be the top 5. As he climbs out of the car, folks, give it up for Jason Stoner, your semi-late winner here at Hagerstown. Oh, you answered the question. You're back. So I'm glad to see you're back.
It took a little while, but we finally got her done. So we're here.
Well, hey, you know what? It's like, riding a bicycle. You never forget. And, tonight Rob Nichols was here. We had a few of the Winchester boys since they decided to come over. And it was intense right up there at the very beginning. But tell me about the track conditions in your race tonight with those guys up front.
Yeah, the track was really good. There was a couple different grooves to run, and we just kept trying to hit our marks. But beside Rob side by side for a couple laps, I was like, man, we're running really clean for each other, and it was a good race. I really appreciate it.
It was indeed, and it says a level of competition. I know our numbers aren't as strong as we'd like for them to be, but what does it say when you got 5 winners in 6 races so far this year for semi-late?
Yeah, we've been watching from afar, not that we were racing, but we were watching and just trying to keep tabs on stuff, so we knew we had to do some homework.
Absolutely. Who would you like to thank tonight, Jason?
I gotta thank my wife for sure. She puts up with all this stuff. Charlie Lay. I mean, I can't say enough about him. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't even be near as competitive as what we are. I mean, I said he should be an engineer. He knows his stuff. And the whole crew and Hafers and Dumpsters LLC, Lay's Automotive, Unlimited Looks, my wife's business, and Sharon Hoop Gardner's Coldwell Banker, and just the whole crew and the family. It's a family deal for us. That's really what it is.
It's good to see you.
Thank you much.
All right. Going to be back here next Saturday night.
That's the game plan.
All right. Jason Stoner going to go for that second one next weekend here at Hagerstown in the semi-lates. All right, field set, 20 laps of distance. We have had 4 different winners. Kyle Lear, Jeremy Pilkington, Wes Bonebrake, Ray Cable III. Will there be another one as we get set? 20 laps for the late model Sportsman. Palmer grabs that lead. Everybody knifing their way through 1 and 2. Trouble! And one car, he does get upside down. 2 drivers get upside down. Red flag on the track. 2 cars upside down on that back straightaway. Started with the 91 of Charlie Schaefer, got crossed up, and then cars trying to avoid contact. We will check on their status as quickly as we find out for you. All drivers are okay. All drivers are okay. Okay, nothing to be alarmed about. There was fuel, obviously, that was dumped by one of the fuel cells when the car flipped over. So there is a controlled burn over there. They're just burning the fuel off the racetrack, so no need for anybody to worry about. Everything's good. The 14, 71 of Tyler Hershey, 99 of Kyle Hardy, 25R. Braden Anderson, top 10 as we get set to go back to green as they come back to the Jesse James Auto Mart restart zone. Still 20 laps ahead of us in tonight's late model Sportsman main event. Green back in the air. Palmer grabbing the lead. Lear quickly trying to dispose of Bobby Beard and get up in his second. Cody Lear quickly to the inside of Spike Moore in the battle for fourth. Leaders back in 3 and 4. Cody Breeden to the bottom side of Wesley Bonebray. He gets a little out of shape. And those two remain side by side in the battle for fifth with 1 lap complete. Lear, the 2-time winner in the non-points races earlier this year. As Bobby Beard shadows him back there in third. Spike Moore wins the battle with Cody Lear. He'll run the high side in turn number 3 and 4. Going to be Lear down to the bottom as he come back, and that's the battle for fourth right now. 2x2 racing with Bonebray, Cody Breeden, as well as Hershey and the 99 of Hardy. Best battle right now in the top 5, that would be for fifth. Cody Breeden working hard on Spike Moore. A few car lengths behind them, Tyler Hershey holding on to that number 8 position. And he's got a couple of takers behind him likewise. And the 49 of Ray Ciccarelli making Hardy in that 99. And the 37 of Bonebreak. He has dropped a little bit in the field as Scott Palmer setting a blistering pace here early. 5 of our 20 laps complete in tonight's late model Sportsman feature event. Challenge for third, Cody Lear. Looking to the inside of Bobby Beard. Falls back in line as they come to the stripe. Right behind them, it's going to be Breeden and Moore continuing their battle for fifth. Breeden down low. Moore's got the high side momentum this time as Breeden tries to dig and keep a position, a good footing down to the inside. He'll fall in behind them as they come back for lap 6. Well, Kyle Lear a little out of shape off at 2, and Cody Lear standing on the gas as he closes in that 99 machine. Back there in third position. Manchester, Maryland driver has really had some good couple of weeks here in late model Sportsman action, and right now he's going to look to the inside of Kyle Lear in turn number 2. Bobby Beard holding on to fourth. Going to be Cody Breeden. He won that battle with Spike Moore moments ago. Moore dropping back a couple of spots as the 71 of Tyler Hershey also now begins to look to his inside as well. Lap 8 complete in tonight's feature. Cody Lear grabbing that spot and checking out on the 149 of Kyle Lear. Bobby Beard and Cody Breeden, they're the top 5. Hershey right behind him with Spike Moore at top 7. Very tight from second on back through that 7th position. Leaders working their way back. Top 3 positions are secure right now. Breed in that 14. He's had a very solid season. He works up in the top 5. He gets around Bobby Beard just a few moments ago. Halfway on the board for Palmer. 10 in the books, 10 to go. All right, just so fans know, the transponder situation has kind of gone aloof on us, so we are doing a hand scored. It's manual scoring right now as we get into the second half of tonight's 20-lap late model Sportsman main event. Scott Palmer still well in control. Good half-turn lead over Cody Lear. And Cody Breeden continues to dig. He's on the inside of Kyle Lear, and he'll get third off of turn number 2. Top 5 made up by the 11M. Spike Moore, that car coming back to life a little bit. Hershey, the 71, right behind him as we put 13 on the board tonight. 3-wide battle almost got ugly. Danny Atherton down to the inside of Bobby Beard and Wes Bonebrake, who continues to drop further back in the field. And Lear's problems continue off of turn 2. Moore gets to the inside. He'll grab the spot, and that'll be for 4th. And right behind him, the 71 of Tyler Hershey. Palmer's about to hit the back end of the field. That'll be Jeff King and Ray Ciccarelli, but still a very substantial lead over Cody Lear right now with 5 laps to go when they come back to the stripe. Palmer and Lear up front. Cody Breeden and Spike Moore, row 2. Tyler Hershey in that 71 with the 19 of Danny Atherton. 37F of Wesley Bonebrake to the inside of row number 4. With the 99 of Kyle Hardy as the green set to come back out. Palmer again at the point. Here comes Spike Moore. What a move by the 11M. 2 of them on the outside. That car clearly coming back to life. He plucks off Breeden and Lear and now makes a charge after the 86 of Palmer with 5 laps to go. And caution back out on the speedway. We do have debris. Caution for debris as we are at lap 15 of tonight's late model Sportsman main event. What a run by Spike Moore off turn 2 with that 11M machine, and Lear now puts a 149 back into pit area. Here, top 5, Kyle Hardy back in 6th position, Danny Atherton 7, Jimmy Jesmer 8th, Wesley Bonebrake, Devin Fry, top 10, 5 to go in tonight's late model Sportsman main event as they hit the Jesse James Automark restart zone one more time. Green back out, and Moore knows he's going to the top. Tyler Hershey coming with him as they chase after Scott Palmer down the back straightaway. Top 3 nose to tail. Cody Lear making Breeden about a car length back in 4th position. Leaders coming back for lap number 16. Palmer trying in vain to hold that 11M off. He's right on that rear decklet as they work it back into 1 and 2. And he has found something. Spike Moore blows by the 86 of Palmer down the back straightaway. Car is cooking, and the 71 of Hershey sees the same thing. He's following in those tire tracks. He goes to the outside. Palmer dropping back into 3rd. It'll be Breeden in 4th. And top 5 made up by the 99 of Kyle Hardy. Leaders down the back straightaway. Still a question mark on this one. Tyler Hershey, he's not done. He now decides to go low as Moore stays top shelf. 2 laps to go this time by. Hershey in the tire tracks that time, but 2-3 car length separation as Palmer trying to hold on to 3rd. Cody Breeden on his back deck lid. Hardy's car coming to life as the leaders come back. White flag in the air this time by. What a spirited run for Spike Moore and that 11M machine cooking down the back straightaway for the final time. Hershey was able to stay with him for a few laps on the restart. But in the end, it is Spike Moore becoming the 5th different late model Sportsman winner at Hagerstown Speedway this year. Tyler Hershey solid in second. Scott Palmer, Cody Breeden, and Kyle Hardy the top 5. And what a show he put on. Folks, give it up for Spike Moore, your late model Sportsman winner tonight here at Hagerstown. Well, Spike, I hear the same word I'm thinking. Wow, wow, wow. That's what everybody is saying. What a great performance. Congratulations.
Man, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I got to thank Kyle most of all and Jim McBee for letting me drive this thing. I had no plans of running the late model this year at all. And Thursday, Kyle texted me and asked me if I wanted to run this thing. And man, he did all the setup, took care of me all weekend, and this thing was on fire that last 10 laps. I mean,
Take me through that, because at the beginning of this race, it looked like you were dropping back a little bit. What did you find? What came to life in this car?
We just went a little hard on tire, and Kyle said it would work, and I just kept faith as we was going back, and all once it lit up, and man, this thing just drove to the front.
You know, it's crazy because this is the second week in a row that we've had a top flight UMP mod type driver that's won here at Hagerstown. Ray Cable III did it a week ago, and now you find yourself into victory lane. But that was very impressive. Did you ever think, I mean, cautions did help, but did you ever think, I mean, that was a great pass with 2 cars off of turn number 2, but you still had Palmer to get. Do you think you still had a shot with that single file restart?
After the first caution, after I got the 99, and I'm not sure which other car was there, I knew Palmer was pretty much in trouble because he was running toward more the middle and the bottom, and this thing was just rolling around that outside. And like I said, Kyle had this thing phenomenal. This is probably the best car I've ever run down here. So
next order of business, I guess. Let's get our pictures taken. Let's have fun here, and let's get right back to business. Say, Kyle, I need to be back in this car again, right? Is that the case?
Yeah, hopefully he calls me again. That'd be awesome.
Well, Spike, great job. Who would you like to thank? I know you thanked Kyle, and he's one of the hardest working guys in the pit area, but who else?
Just all of Jim McBee's sponsors, Kyle's sponsors, Integra Racing Shocks by Brian Doherty. Kyle's dad, all his crew guys, his brother, Jace. He's helped me out a lot this weekend. We was actually at Port Royal last night and loaded up and decided to come here today. So, I can't thank everybody enough. Matt for coming and helping, and my wife for coming and supporting me.
Well, we're glad you did come, and we hope we're going to see you again, because that was one hell of a performance tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All righty, Spike Moore picking up the late model Sportsman win tonight at Hagerstown. "20 laps again the distance in our Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Models. We've had 2 winners in 2 races. We will have a third. Devin Brennan, David Kaiser, they won earlier this year. They're not here. We got a new face in victory lane coming. Green flag back in the air in the Jesse James Auto Mart restart zone. Well, Upperman, the heat race winner, rolled the number 2 dice, and right now he's trying to hold on to second. Jacob Witt to his inside. Alan Witt Jr., that 19. He leads down low. Very tight top 3 as they work their way back to the stripe. Going to be Alan Witt, the leader. Upperman in second. He almost had to hit the binders and not hit the rear deck lid of that 19 machine. That opened the door for Jacob Witt. Goes to the inside. Ciccarelli back and forth. Hutton in the number 6 machine. He holds on to 5th here with 2 laps complete. Still a good battle for that number 2 spot. Alan Witt's got about a 3-4 car length advantage, but Jacob Witt and Kyler Upperman going hammer and tong right now And going to be Witt in the 33. Got down bottom and got that spot, but hit a rough patch down all the way at the bottom, and that opened Upperman up for the inside. And he will reassume the number 2 position. Witt goes right back after him in turn number 2 and reclaims that second spot. Determination for that 33. Going to be Hutton on the inside of Ray Ciccarelli further back. That's the battle for 4th. Bowie back in 6th. Going to be Pope running in the number 7 spot as they come back for lap 4. Hutton and Ciccarelli, the battle on the track right now in the top 10. Give that to the Boyce, Virginia driver, Christopher Hutton in the number 6. Ciccarelli back to 5th. Going to be Bowie and Pope, 2 drivers that see each other quite a bit in crate late model action. They have their own battle going on just outside the top 5. And back behind them, Burdett in the 08, followed by the 40S of Sweeney, the B2 of Mason Booz. They're the drivers in the top 10. And right now, the only battle right now just outside the top 5. Pope with a good run. He goes to the inside of Bowie as they come back for lap 6. Pope and Bowie still working hard on each other, and now it's going to be Pope getting to the inside. He'll gain that number 6 position. That pulls them right up behind the 49 of Ray Ciccarelli as they look to get a top 5 run here this evening. And Pope with a good run to the inside of Ciccarelli at the line. He'll still be 6th as they take that battle back into 1. All the while, Alan Witt stretching that lead out. Jacob Witt, that fierce battle with Kyler Upperman, but hasn't really been able to reel in that 19 machine as of yet. Upperman in the 27. He holds a solid 3rd. Likewise for the 6 of Boyce. And now Pope puts the 11P up into the number 5 position. Going to be Ciccarelli back in 6th. Bowie holding on to 7th. 8th on the track right now. The 02 of Burdett, followed by Booz, and then the 40 of Sweeney. Well, we mentioned that Jacob had not been able to catch Allen, and within the last lap or so, it's less than a car length separation as Jacob Witt turned the wick up a little bit, and now it's about 2 car lengths as Alan Witt got a better bite off of turn number 2, and we put halfway on the board. 10 in the books, 10 to go in tonight's Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model Feature event. Upperman still well within striking distance likewise. And add Boyce, or make it the 6 of Hutton out of Boyce, Virginia. Top 4 beginning to tighten up a little bit here on the second half of tonight's Crate Late Model Feature. And Jacob Witt takes a peek to the inside of Alan Witt. And they're going to be close to the end of lap traffic. 34C of Craig Perrell here on lap number 11. Looks like he's about to hit the back pits and does, as it's going to be Jacob Witt all the while taking the lead over Alan Witt down in turn 3 and 4 before they hit that lap traffic. 2 back markers to deal with as they come back for lap number 12. Going to be the 27 of Donnie Tingle and also the 55S machine of Doug Saylor, as Jacob Witt once in front opens a lead up. And now it's going to be Hutton to the inside of Kyler Upperman in the battle for 3rd. Pope is holding on to 4th. Bowie's had his issues. He's dropped back. Ciccarelli's gotten around him, and now he fends off the 08 of Jacob Burdett further back in the field. Bowie's Virginia driver, Christopher Hutton, right to the inside of Upperman. Great battle for the number 2 spot. Alan Witt Jr. trying to hold on for dear life. He might be the meat and the sandwich here in a few moments, as those 3 machines right together. Going to be Hutton down to the inside, working that bottom groove and muscling the 19 out of his groove, and it's going to be Hutton taking over. But that brought Pope up with him. 4 cars fighting for 1 spot. As the dust settles off of turn 2, it's going to be Hutton grabbing that 2nd position. Kyler Upperman in 3rd. Pope now up to 4th. And Alan Witt Jr., your pole sitter, now rounding out the top 5. We had 5 laps to go. Jacob Witt, handful of laps to go. Still some cars to deal with. The 92 of Brian Coe coming up, as well as the 28 machine. And that's Dylan Pryor, but not a lot of heavy lap traffic for the Stephen City, Virginia driver as he works it off at turn number 2. Hutton once in second as edged away. Pope coming to life late in the event to the inside of Upperman, up to third. Upperman now fourth. Going to be Alan Witt in fifth. Ciccarelli and Bowie side by side for sixth. Going to be Burdett back in eighth, and Booz in the B2 machine, rounding out the top 10 here at lap 17. Witt knifing through some lap traffic. The 55, a Sailor, down to the inside, off the pace a little bit as the leaders go by down the back straightaway, and 2 laps to go for Jacob Witt off turn 4. Possibly one car to deal with. That would be the 28 of Dylan Pryor. He gets around him. It'll be clear sailing for the Stevens City, Virginia Express. And Pope not done either. He's got a couple, maybe 3 car lengths separation between he and Hutton as his car has really come to life late in the event. Witt off of turn number 4, rather unorthodox line, but the white flag is out and he's got a 2-lap car separation between himself and Christopher Hutton. Back straight away, final lap. Going to be Jacob Witt, clear sailing. Again, 2-lap car separated him from the rest of the field. And off turn 4, Jacob Witt becomes the 3rd winner in as many races in 2025 in the Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model Series. 6 of Christopher Hutton will come home second. The 11P of Ed Pope in third. 27 of Kyler Upperman and the 19 of Alan Witt Jr. make up the top 5. There he is, Jacob Witt, your crate late model winner tonight here at Hagerstown. Got some roof repair damage to do. Jacob, you must have been sitting there watching Spike Moore in that late model Sportsman races. He and Alan Witt congratulate each other, a great effort. But the 33 came to life. At one point, Alan looked like he was going to stretch away a little bit from you, but you found something in that tank a little bit.
Yeah, I found out that if I put it on 2 wheels in 3 and 4, we'd be a lot better. But yeah, I just got to
turn around real quick.
Just got to thank everybody that helps out. You know, like last night we didn't get home till 3 in the morning. We got pretty much trashed at Dog Hollow. Came home. Raced a quarter midget this morning and put the car back together in the back parking lot of Hagerstown Speedway. It's just a team effort, you know, like Matt helped us out a bunch this week. Jeff helped out today. My whole family for just staying with us.
Tell us about that race, because at one point it looked like, well, Alan might be able to sneak this one out, but something came to life in that 33 machine.
Well, I saw a long-ass car ride coming home, so I figured we'd put it in gear and see if we can run him down. I tried to tell him go on a different set of tires, but he's so damn stubborn, he just wanted to run it his way. So I just waited his tires out, and I knew they'd go away, and paced them from there, and I knew it would be a good race at the end.
You know, what time is it? It's late. It's late Saturday night. It's comedy night now, isn't it? It's fun time. That was a heck of a performance. I know there's a lot of people you've already thanked. Who else would you like to thank here this evening?
First and foremost, Kyle Hardy, man. He helps me out a bunch. You know, whenever I need something, I think I called him at like 12 o'clock last night about just random shit. I mean, he helps me out a lot. I can't thank Kyle and Mike and all them enough. They help me out a bunch. J&S, Home Storage, they help me out a bunch. Even if it's $100 here and there, everything matters when you're a small race team. Sweeney Belt, you know, my buddy back here, Scotty. We try to share each other's notes, and it's very crucial to have somebody where you can be honest with and kind of bounce ideas back and forth with. AGX, you know, Mike Hardy. Allstate, Marcy Overchain, she's always helped me out. Linneberg, Brandon Linneberg's been with me since I raced freaking new cars.
And you know, he's sitting in the grandstands at Charlotte, probably enjoying himself this weekend.
I hope he is. You know, he's always been there with me since day one, so it's always good to get him out here.
You got a bunch of people that are anxious to come enjoy Victory Lane with you.
Race Wraps too, Cluster Communications. They hook me up whenever I need something. So
fantastic. Hey, it's good to see you down at Potomac doing some great racing with us too. So we certainly hope to see you down there in a few weeks as well.
Yep, we'll be back to Potomac. I think it's July 11th is the makeup race, and see what we can do from there.
You know, the power came on about 15 minutes after we called it.
They were walking out, and I saw that Quaid Performance lit up, and I was like, damn it.
Oh, it's like, you got to be kidding me. But Jacob, great job. Look forward to seeing you down the road and many more victories.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you, man.
All right, Jacob Witt, your crate late model winner here at Hagerstown. Three drivers in victory lane this year. We mentioned Keith Reed, the 8 machine on the outside of row number 2. He's got a pair. 32F of Tyler Fisher, one time a winner. Evan Faust, the 78. He was a winner a week ago. Acton and Beavers set to lead us into the Jesse James Auto Mart restart zone as we get set for the 15-lap finale tonight. Leaders off in 1 and 2, and Beavers will get the better of Ecton off that second corner. Keith Reed over his son Blake. Here comes Jonker in the 31, challenging quickly up into the number 4 position as side by side. Ecton doing a great job of not making contact with Beavers. All right, Beavers leading as we get set to put 2 on the board. And here comes Reed to the inside of the 57 of Bill Ecton Jr. Right now going to be Ecton holding that edge for the moment. Blake Reed still back in 4th, Jonker in 5th. 66 of Friedrich holding on to 6th position early. 141 of Caravello, then the 11 of Spielman. 71 of Shank just behind them, and the 45 of Sutphin make up the early top 10 as Reed goes to the inside of Ecton and claims 2nd. Well, all too familiar spot for Dylan Beavers. He has had this opportunity, and then all of a sudden something just doesn't finish out the way he wants it to. Tonight, will it be his night? Will he be that 4th different winner? Got a ways to go. 4 laps of or 15 on the board as he brings it back to the stripe. Reed, Ecton, and now the challenge for 4th. It's going to be Jonker to the inside of Blake Reed. And those front 5 with about a half a turn gap. Friedrich in that 66 will lead that second charge. Spielman in the 11. Great run last weekend before mechanical issues knocked him out. He's up into 7th. Caravello in the 141 holding on to 8th. Carter Shank in 9th. And Tyler Fisher, the top 10 as a third of our pure stock race in the books. 5 down, 10 to go. No good battle continuing to that top 5. Jonker and Blake Reed. Blake had a good qualifying effort earlier tonight. 2nd to his dad. And he continues to run a good line to that EP machine, fending off the 31. That's the good battle in the top 5. Behind him going to be Spielman getting around the 66 of Friedrich. That will put him up into 6th as lap 7 goes on the board this time by. Lead between Beavers and Reed. That is closing up down to about a couple of car lengths off of turn number 2 as halfway will go on the board this time by. 57 of Ecton, a quarter of a straightaway back in that 3rd position as it continues to be Jonker and Reed. Little contact between those two down the back straightaway, still side by side in turn 3 and 4. Halfway on the board. And Keith Reed with a bold move down the back straightaway, but he goes in hard way up the racetrack, and Beavers will slide right back in front here at lap number 9. Reed again will work that bottom lane. Dylan Beavers, he runs a very consistent middle groove, but Reed's got the bounce, and he has got the momentum on that bottom side. He'll grab the lead down the back straightaway. Beavers will see if he can retaliate back to the inside in turn number 3 and 4, and indeed does, but Reed's going to have the advantage off that 4th turn. 5 laps to go here in tonight's Pure Stock main event. Still William Ecton Jr. holding on to 3rd. Blake Reed winning the battle with Nathaniel Yonker, but that has brought Spielman to life. The 11A is right there likewise, trying to crack in the top 5 as well. Reed to the inside of Lap Machine as Beavers goes by, but it's going to be about 3-4 car length separation between those two as they come back for lap number 11. Further back, that battle, as we mentioned, from 4th on back has settled down slightly. Blake Reed has a couple of car lengths on Yonker, same back to Spielman, as Reed will bring him off at turn number 4 for that 12th circuit tonight, opening up a little advantage on Dylan Beavers. Tyler Fisher trying to claim at least one more spot late in the event, up to 7th around the 66. Friedrich as they come back for 2 to go. So Keith Reed on the mission for victory number 3 this year, as he takes the white flag. Beavers back across the stripe likewise. Ecton comfortably in his 3rd spot. Blake Reed has been on the defense. Yonker gets into the back of him a little bit, and Yonker's going to swing it wide. He's got to hold on for dear life. That opens the door for James Spielman to bring the 11 up into one more spot, but all the while it's going to be Keith Reed checking in for victory number 3 in the pure stock action for 2025. 62 of Dylan Beavers will wind up in second. 57 of William Ecton Jr., the 8B of Blake Reed, and the 11A, James Spielman. They will round out the top 5 in tonight's pure stock finale. Coming away with victory number 3. Let's hear it for Keith Reed here in our Pure Stocks tonight here at the Hagerstown Speedway. You know, I only want to talk about one lap. I think you know the lap I want to talk about. It was the lap before you finally got the lead from Dylan, but boy, did you put it in there on the back straightaway that one lap, and she swung wide. We almost had to create another lane for you here at Hagerstown.
Well, I didn't want to have to pull a slider on him, but I tried my best.
Yeah, I know.
Because we had her a little bit tight for this track, and that's probably what it was going to take. I didn't feel like I got into Dylan, but it probably woke him up a little bit.
He probably said, who in the world is that? Where did he come from? But right after that, very next lap, there she was. That car was handling like a dream tonight.
Well, like I say, we had her a little bit tight, and we really had to sling it in there. I didn't want to have to run it that hard, but daggone, here we are.
Absolutely, 3 victories.
First one back after the knee.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I saw you getting out a little gingerly, so all that's taken care of. We're in good shape. We're only on the mend. It's only positive from here on out, right?
Hats off to the track crew. I mean, it's a fast track tonight. I didn't think it was going to be this fast, but yeah, it was.
You set a new one-lap speed record. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, I'm just kidding with you, but I just want to see the look on your face.
hey, that's going to be 2 crab cakes now, brother.
Hey, I'm there. I'm with you, man. Maybe Lisa will give me a raise because crab cakes, you know, they're not cheap. So we'll get you down there one of these days. Keith, who would you like to thank for another great performance?
Well, Danny McSherry and those guys are back here in the 21 gang. I thank them. They help us out a lot with the fuel program and Triad Engineering. Thank them. And who else we got on here? Garvin Signs, Poncho's Racing Products. You know, I know he's big in the sprint cars, but he helps us out with parts. Jonathan DeHaven, JDR Motorsports, he helps me out with parts. A lot of guys, these guys back here. Blake's, I thought I was going to have to deal with him tonight.
Well, I tell you, he had other business to deal with. He had a whale of a battle with Nathaniel, and then James Spielman got up there, and, well, they put on a heck of a show just a little bit further behind him.
Well, that's good, because, I mean, hopefully it's going to be the 8 and 8 show, like I told you before. But Clint, you know, we might have had her a little too tight, but it worked out. Bill, you know, Bill's first time here, you know, congratulations to him. He's going to get up here with a picture.
Good, good. Bill, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed your first experience here. Keith, great job as always. Your class act, and we thank you for being here, and congratulations on another win.
I don't think Dylan's going to get up there and roll the dice for me anymore, is he?
Maybe not, maybe not. Hey, you're going to have a little bit of time off before we see you back here in a few weeks, but enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you back here soon.
Hey, everybody out there, too, you enjoy yours, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, Keith Reed wraps that up tonight, his third Pure Stock win of 2025.